Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily news updates with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa joins the call for more African representation at the United Nations Security Council. The opposition in Guinea says the people are determined to block President Alpha Conde's bid for a third term in the October elections. Around 2,000 Ethiopians are facing charges over the unrest sparked by pop star Hachalu Hundesa's murder in late June. Our top story today: Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Thursday denounced a lack of African representation at the Security Council in his speech before the United Nations General Assembly.
It is deeply regrettable that reform of the Security Council and implementation of Africa's position has not been achieved. We cannot continue with a situation where over 16% of the world's population does not have a voice.
So far, the United States, Britain, France, Russia and China are the only permanent members of the Security Council. South Africa and Niger are the only sub-Saharan Africa nations currently serving as 2 of the 10 non-permanent members of the Council elected on a rotational basis.
Peace, security and stability are a prerequisite for sustainable development. This can only be achieved in an inclusive process characterized by equally shared commitment and responsibilities.
Mnangagwa's stance on the matter echoes that of President Cyril Ramaphosa's earlier this week. Ghana on Thursday announced a possible second round of voter registration for the December general election. The Electoral Commission said that the second registration would focus on 3 groups of eligible voters: individuals who were outside the country during the coronavirus pandemic, those who were under a 14-day mandatory quarantine, and qualified voters whose names are missing from the register on exhibition will be the target groups. This decision has, however, raised some concerns from the ruling party and the opposition. Both camps argued that the second round voters would not be able to vote because their registration would not meet the statutory 60-day period before elections. In Guinea, political tensions remain high 3 weeks ahead of the 2020 presidential election. The main opposition leader, Cellou Dalein Diallo, on Thursday said that Guineans are determined to block President Alpha Conde's bid for a disputed third term in office.
There is no chance that Alpha Conde will be elected, at least not at the ballot box. I think the risks of a coup d'etat, or at least an electoral hold-up, as was the case in the past, are less likely because the Guineans are determined.
Conde, in office since 2010, pushed through a highly controversial constitutional referendum in March, allowing him to run for a third term next month.
Now, if he tries to impose himself by force, naturally he will find the strength of our people gets in his way, because the people of Guinea are determined not only to deny him a third term, but also to punish him for the catastrophic record he has left after 10 years in power.
The opposition has vowed to resume anti-government protests as of next week. In neighboring Mali, interim President Bandao made his first public appearance on Thursday after his appointment by the ruling military junta earlier this week. The interim leader met with former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan in Bamako on the eve of his swearing-in ceremony, which took place this Friday. The 70-year-old retired colonel will rule Mali for at most 18 months before staging nationwide elections. In Eastern Africa, Ethiopia's Attorney General made a major announcement on Thursday as a result of the violent protests and inter-ethnic clashes that took place in July following the murder of famous Oromo singer Hachalu Hundessa.
The current figure we have is above 2,000 suspects are being charged for their participation in the violence that has taken place in the Oromo regional state.
The Attorney General debunked all allegations that the investigations are politically motivated. Journalists and some prominent politicians, such as opposition leader Jawar Mohammed, feature among the suspects set to stand trial.
Some of the suspects, some of the accused are politicians, but they are not being charged for their political activity. They are being charged for their acts.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's press secretary said that the arrests and prosecution should not call into question the credibility of the country's upcoming elections.
Elections will be free and fair, and there is no mincing any words. There is no confusion that the rule of law proceedings have nothing to do at all with trying to get, as you say, some prominent voices out of it.
At least 160 people were killed and over 300 were injured as a result of July's violent civil unrest, according to the authorities. In neighboring Kenya, the High Court on Thursday stopped every move to dissolve the parliament following the country's Chief Justice's controversial remarks. Chief Justice David Maraga on Monday called on President Kenyatta to dissolve the male-dominated parliament, arguing its failure to meet a constitutional provision which states that women should occupy at least one-third of the parliamentary seats. The High Court on Thursday suspended all moves to dissolve parliament, awaiting a complete hearing on the case. The hearing, scheduled for the 7th of October, will be presided over by a panel of appointed judges. In neighboring Uganda, Françoise Sabuni Shikunda, this year's Nsen Refugee Award regional winner for Africa, on Wednesday commented on her recent victory.
I feel so good. I feel so proud. I feel I'm a woman of empowerment. It's challenging me to go forwards, for continue to teach and training and sharing skills with other women and telling them to be open. Don't make things on your hearts.
The 49-year-old Congolese rights activist is the founder of the Women's Center, helping victims and survivors of sexual and gender-based violence in Uganda, where she found refuge.
My message for my fellow refugee, it's like to stand firm. Let us join hands together and be one and fight against this human sexual harassments. The one is passing all over the world. It's not only in Congo, it is all over.
The Nsen Refugee Award is an annual award that recognizes individuals, groups or organizations who go above and beyond the call of duty to support refugees, stateless and displaced populations. It recognizes the bravery and the selflessness of such acts and projects that are implemented in the field, the direct support that they provide to the most vulnerable category of human beings.
After surviving a violent attack in the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, Shikunda was kidnapped by armed militiamen in her native Democratic Republic of Congo. The men held her as a slave for years while torturing and raping her repeatedly. She eventually managed to flee to neighboring Uganda, where she became a volunteer English teacher and community helper.
Sabuni François Shikunda was chosen for this award to receive the Regional Nsen Refugee Award for Africa because of her bravery, her acts of selflessness, defying the challenges and obstacles that she went through herself, turning them into an opportunity to others, an inspiration to many by providing them with skills, by providing them with the knowledge to achieve their own potential. And as she always says, We all have to look forward and move forward.
The Nsen Refugee Award is named after Norwegian humanitarian and Nobel Prize winner Fridtjof Nansen, who was the first High Commissioner for Refugees, appointed by the League of Nations in 1921. In South Africa, Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula on Thursday visited Cape Town International Airport to check on preparations ahead of the reopening of air borders on the 1st of October.
People come to our country applying for visa. Part of the things we're looking at, you must have, a certification that about 72 hours you tested and you were COVID negative.
The head of South Africa's airports company, Mpumi Mpofu, believes it will be quite difficult to regain the confidence of passengers after the 6-month hiatus due to the coronavirus pandemic.
We can't be quibbling about loss of revenue over a few months because the process is going to be long and hard to get passenger confidence back, to get airlines. You have seen newspaper coverage indicating airlines that have been shut down, that have been liquidated.
International flights will resume at the country's 3 main airports of Johannesburg, Cape Town and Durban starting next week. South Africa's viral Jerusalem dance has brought delight to many people during the coronavirus pandemic. President Cyril Ramaphosa on Thursday called on all South Africans to join in the challenge to celebrate the country's Heritage Day. The 2019 hit song, composed by Master KG and Nomsibo Zikode, received international attention after videos of South Africans doing the Jerusalem Dance Challenge were broadcasted on social media. The Zulu language track beseeches God to take them to the wonderful city of Jerusalem. The song has received more than 60 million streams on Spotify and is identified as one of the world's most famous tracks. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.